Hey guys, welcome back out in front of the loft, and I know this has took me like many weeks, way longer than I thought it was gonna. I mean, I'm like weeks back, 6 weeks, 6 weeks since I started making this video. It really shouldn't have took that long, and I apologise. Anyway, I'm going to talk you through because last time out I promised you. I'll give you an update about my trap, and that I was going to be looking at changing it. And to be honest, I've changed it even since I started making this video. So I'm going to flip the camera around and sort of talk you through what I've done and what's changed. Right then, as I'm sure you can all see, that landing board is not how I left it, and that, to be fair, is one of my last changes, so I'm going to come back to you. We'll come back to that, I'm going to talk about that in a moment. But first of all, as I'm sure you can see, it started out as a pretty basic trap. The name for these has gone blank. Why have I gone blank on that? Never mind. As you can see, they drop in through there and come out through there. What I've done, as like I'm sure many of you do, you spend many a night reading and coming up with different ideas on how you're going to get better, and how you can improve yourself as well as the stock you have. And as we know, the fitness of the birds is one of the most important aspects. So I was obviously reading about the idea of the open loft. For those that don't know, it's basically the idea behind it is that birds can come and go as they please. We've got the bobs here. Cobwebs on it for some reason. This wasn't there last night. Alright, so got the bobs so they can come out whenever they want, and obviously normally the trap board will be down and they can go back in whenever, and they're free roam and can come and go. It's quite a simple idea really. Obviously the idea behind it is they come and go as they please. They spend more time on the wing building up their fitnesses. Another benefit to what I was reading and talking to people about, found they come a lot more aware of predators. So because they're out all day, you think of like your streeters, going around the towns, and that's where the peregrines are and the hawks and whatnot. So you notice how the streeters are never too bothered about the hawks. A lot of this is because they spend a lot of time around them, so they become aware of how to avoid them. And the idea of the open loft is that with the birds being out all day, they learn to adapt to the hawks and how to avoid them. So that was the plan, and that's why I've done it. As you can see, this bit's clearly been added on later, and quite a simple reason to that. I can lock it up. Now, I know what you're thinking it's an open loft, why are you locking it up? And the reason is, for my young birds, this is the first time I'm going to be using this system, but obviously they need to get used to the trap and training before that. So I need to get them on the recall. And once that's in place, then as old birds or as mature young birds, they'll be using this before the racing. What happened for me to adapt that change, however, right, was, as you'll see later on in the video, I've been trap training. I mean, this is how far behind I am. you know, later in this video I'm going to be talking about dropping them in for the first time, going through the trap. I've now been doing that for about a week and they know fully what they're doing now. However, the first time, after obviously I switched the camera off, right, what I did, let the birds out. Alright, so going out, shut the tin, shut the tin, birds dropped in, and there's a couple more set up on the top of the roof and on the top of the shed here. Alright, so obviously give it another shake, and then what happened was my very clever young birds, right, instead of going into the main loft for food, they saw I had the tin out here, so came back out, right, flew back onto the roof and then spent a night out because they decided they weren't coming back in. So I very quickly that same evening actually come up with this, you know, that'll lock it, so when I do call in the young birds and they're still learning the system, that locks them in, they can't get out. Right, so that's sorted. I thought that'll be easy. Right, that's sorted, I'm happy with that. I'll finish that, I'll get painting on, I'll paint the rest of that and it'll all be sorted. Easy. And then the other day, they're out, and as you can see my loft ain't in best position, but I've got to work with what I've got. You know, so I'm right up against my own house. That fence just here represents the end of my garden, and come around this side of it, right here is my conservatory, and that's about 3 foot away from the loft. As you can see, I've also got a fairly decent overhang from the roof, and if I just pull this trap shut down a minute, right, this was all the landing board they had to aim at, and as you can see, there's the overhang of the roof, and the landing board literally starts just at the end of that. So what I'd end up doing, or having, is what I found, was a lot of the birds would hesitate between like the roof of the loft here and on the corner of the conservatory up here, so they'd hover between. So I needed a way to extend my landing board that would give them more confidence when landing. Obviously it still needs to be painted and all of that. So here's what I come up with. Right, oh look, a little robin just dropped in, and off it goes. Right, yeah, so what I've done is come up with this nice folding, very clever action landing board. You know, as you can see, it's a bit fiddly with one hand, so what I'm going to do is pause the video here, pause the recording, sorry, and then I'll come back to you in a moment. There we are. Right, as you can see, what I've done now is I've put the board in. Right, it's now solid, or solid enough for the birds, and they land on that, and it's got you know, decent sized landing board for them to aim at. So that's where I'm at with the changes. I quite like this idea. Obviously I need to see how it works, but it's been working quite well for the last week, 2 weeks or so. So I'm not really having too many issues with it. Yeah, there's a bit of a bounce when the birds land on it, but so far it's been alright, you know, they're not freaking out or anything. So yeah, that's where we're at. Right, so there we are. I'm going to let you know, any comments on open loft system or I want to see them in the comments down below. Share your ideas, you know, let's get talking, see what's other people are doing and what's working. As we all know, there's many ways to win. You know, this isn't the be all and end all. You know, I'm not trying to say it is. But let me know what you think. And then, you know, add some comments down below. Let's get a discussion going. So that's all I have. That is my latest update. I have to do a bit of time travelling now. I'm going to send you back like 4 weeks ago at least. And I'll show you some other birds going through the trap. See you later. Alright, just outside the loft. I'm going to look at some of my babies. Getting them used to the basket. These were the ones that were weaned the other day. First time in the basket, so they've been in there for about an hour. Ideally these should have been out a few weeks ago, but I thought the weather's nice, good time to get them out in the basket and start putting them through the trap. Take a closer look at these as we feed them back through. Right then, to bear with me, I'm doing this one-handed. Right, so start with hold on. Start with our yellow bar mealy. Little girl, little hen I should say. She is off one of the best birds I have in the loft. Her mum, Madame, is one of my best birds, champion bloodline, so it'd be interesting to see how she does, and hopefully she'll survive the race season. Come on, can you go? Oh, there she is. Right, next up we have right, here we go. Next up we have some paddy. There's my Josphone's grizzle. See a little bit of grizzling in the tail. Yes. It's a very, very white bird. Again, champion lineup. You like this one? Yeah. It's my little girl, look. Yeah. Yeah. She's on about one of my races on the roof. Right, so there's one of my Josphone grizzles. I only had one at the nest hatch. I'm sure if you've been following my other videos, you'll be aware of that. It's only one of the eggs were fertile. Right, first time through the trap. There she is. Finally, we have these four. Those are off my race team. Most of which are Van crosses or thereabouts, first time out. I've not really got too much to say about these, but I don't really know too much about the pedigree. So parents were gifted to me. So we'll see how they get on. Right, stay tuned and we'll update you as they progress. Tell us your thoughts in the comments section below. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and then go forward and check out these videos.